Boom, how's going? How's going? Welcome again. It is another day where we're talking about anything and everything around the business. And today I've got another brother from another mother who does a business that is totally different from mine. I'm excited to have Solomon on board, and he's going to be talking about his own business. But before we jump onto the business, Solomon, how's it going? And welcome. And yeah, tell us about you. Who are you? Where are you from?
Hey, brother. Thank you so much for having me, Jack. Really appreciate this. And yeah, my name is Solomon Mahobatlo. I'm the founder of CISO Labor Projects and ePasela. And yeah, I'm just an entrepreneur, young guy born in South Africa, grew up in Tambisa and also in the rural village of a place called Butlakwa in Limpopo. An ordinary guy. That's who I am. Simple guy.
Good, good. You speak of Tambisa, but originally you're from the rural areas from Limpopo. You said. When did you
Yeah.
move from Limpopo to Tambisa? Do you remember?
Yo, bro. I actually, let me say I was born in Limpopo. Then my
Yeah,
parents took me with to Tembisa to go and hustle. And
right.
later on, then they sent me back home to go and start school. And later on, then again, then I went back to Gauteng with the parents. So I've been moving around Limpopo and Gauteng, many, many times. So I can't necessarily remember, but it was just after the apartheid era, not before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, cool. When your parents moved to Joburg, so for some people that don't know, Tembisa is in Johannesburg. It's a township, and it's an amazing place. If you've never been, Google it. You will love it. There's lots of stuff that happens there. Lots of socials. Is that correct?
Yeah, no, for sure. Tembisa is very lit. It's a lit township. Um, People might look at it as a township, but there's a lot that is happening there. And there's a lot of products. I'm talking people, strong people, top people that many people know who come from Tembisa. I think I'm one of them, but I'm still working my way up.
Good, good. I really like that. Now, let's talk about the background now. So you are now um, in Tembisa. It's a township. And with that, where did the entrepreneurships started sinking in, or now starting to think, hold on, actually I can be an entrepreneur? Because I do think that if I look at myself in my township time of growing up, people that were doing business, it's either they you probably own a spaza, it was probably Dr. Patel who had a surgery down the road, and maybe the shop. And the shop even was also a Mohammed shop, right?
Yeah.
Um, but there was not so many people who were doing business. Everyone else woke up every day to go somewhere and go and work, and they would come home very late, that kind of thing. But for you, the exposure of being entrepreneur, where did that come from? Especially having a background like you're coming in from tennis.
Yeah, my brother. That's for real. Growing up in Tembisa, my parents would wake up, go to work. But then the entrepreneurship bug didn't actually beat me while I was in Tembisa, I think. Well, I was young, but
Yeah,
I really think that it actually got me while I was still in Limpopo, in the deep rural areas. I had my aunties, my grandma, working in the farms. And during their times while they're working there, I remember my granny used to work in the potato and tomato farms. So that was seasonal. So some seasons should bring some potatoes, some seasons should bring some tomatoes at home. And because now it's a lot, we couldn't finish them. So one had to make a plan to say, what do we do with them? Because now the only type of food that we have is pap and stew. That's the gravy or tomato gravy and onion. So we had to make a plan. So I actually took some time to go and sell those fruit, those veggies in the streets, and made a bit of money so that I can have money for school, and can also help them buy a bit of meat because we didn't have that. We didn't have meat. Now we don't want to eat meat, we want to eat veggies. But back then we wanted meat and we couldn't afford it. Now that we afford it, we want to go back to the veggies. So that's exactly where it started. But then later on, when I moved to Tambisa, as I was studying, I decided that I wanted to start selling sweets. Then I did that in school, and I remember I spent most of my time with the guys who were gambling, so that I can sell to them instead of studying. But fortunately, I did, do my school, and I have a postgraduate diploma in labor law. Went to vets, finished, and I'm doing my MBA now. So that didn't necessarily derail me, but it taught me a lesson about business. It actually taught me that if you really want something in life, you must work for it. You must push. So I sold the sweets. I made some profit, and I also used to ask my friends to sell for me while I was also gambling, trying to make more money. So yeah, that's where I started to have employees working for me, helping me to make more money, right?
So you're running a franchise without even calling it a franchise at a young age.
No, definitely. I'd say I was, yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Because I had other kids from my hood who'd take my sweets and biscuits to go and sell in their own schools. So I had myself in my school and my friends. Then I had my homies in their own schools. So, I made a bit of cash there. You're right. I mean, it was a franchise, but I didn't really think it was. Thanks.
That's it. That's it. Is that way you can almost pinpoint to say that was your first exposure of making money, or um, was there another period in your life where you identified the fact that you're actually making money for yourself? That is it Tembisa, or is it when you were back home with your mom or with your parents when they were doing the potatoes? At which junction would you say that?
I- I'd say I'd say that, Jack, immediately when I got to Tembisa and while I was in high school, that's where then I started realizing that there's something about this entrepreneurship, journey. There's something that one can actually do something for themselves without asking
Mm,
mom, without asking dad, or without asking an employer to do it for you. Because
yeah.
I mean, while with the profits that I used to make, I used to go back to the gambling area where we used to gamble. Then I used to loan money to guys who lost money, transport money. Then the following day I receive it double. So that's where I actually started to make a lot of money. So the townships, money.
Loan shark.
Yeah, loan shots, well, machoni, so that's what they call it.
Yeah. So you speak about all these interventions, right, that you've been running, and I want to jump into now that you know that you can make money, you're conscious around it. So before you were
Yeah,
not, it was by accident, right, or it was almost coming from a need perspective. But now you're
correct.
conscious around it, and you said you're now a founder, you're a CEO of the two businesses that you run. I want to jump into those two businesses a little bit later. But a lot of people, they struggle to actually just find an idea of, I want to start selling potatoes,
Mm.
or I want to start doing A, B, C, D. So they struggle with that. For you, how did the idea of starting these two businesses come by, and how did you now consciously say, hey, I can start this, let me put it on paper? Well, I don't know whether you put it on paper or what, but how did you then transition into a business?
Well, my brother, that's a very good question, I must say. Um, you're right. I mean, many people struggle, whether with ideas or to implement the ideas that they have. And for me, the biggest thing was, having tasted that money that I made for myself when I was young,
Yeah.
and without any stress, without having to ask anybody, without having to wait the whole month to get that salary, right? So, in a way, I was motivated by my bosses when I started working, looking at their lives, looking at, the lifestyles that they live, and not necessarily about money only, but, looking at, the time, the quality of time that they have and that they can spend with their families, and, going also on holidays and things like that. Then I realized that with the salary that I earn, I don't think I'd be able to achieve all those. I don't think I'd be able to afford, a holiday for a whole week or a whole 2 weeks for my family. And also, as I mentioned, that, having something that you call your own, um, including the fact that, South Africa and the unemployment rate and all that, it was an issue. So I believe that entrepreneurship, some people are born with it, and I think I'm one of those people. But I also think that there are people who learn from others, which is called nature. You can nurture entrepreneurs, and with that, we can all become entrepreneurs, but not everybody, but people with good ideas can become successful entrepreneurs, because we can all be entrepreneurs, but we cannot all be successful. That is a fact, and we must accept that. So we will always, we'll try. I mean, this is not the business that I have now. These are not my first businesses. I tried so many businesses. I failed. I tried, after I quit before I could quit my job, I went to my boss and I said to my boss, I want to start a business and I want you to be my mentor, of which many people are scared, are so afraid to do, just to go to your boss and say, I want to start a business. Can you please be my mentor? Because I saw this man was succeeding and he started with nothing. So I went to him and said, I want you to be my mentor. I want to start a business of this nature. And then somehow he agreed to be my mentor. And the rest is history, my brother. I mean, I now own these 2 companies, and I think I'm heading into the right direction. So, starting a business requires one to have an open mind, to also look at the environments where, what is happening around them. Have that open mind to say, if there is a problem, maybe I can come up with a solution, and analyze whether your solution can help more people, not only you and your family, but more people. And if you can identify that, surely you have a gold mine in your mind, of which you just have to implement, carry your peaks and foreshows, go and dig, and hopefully you will get to the level where the gold soon.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. You speak of the other business where you have failed. One of my biggest mentors that I've been following for a long time, he says, if you're failing, you're winning.
Yes.
And in the beginning, that used to puzzle me quite a bit, because I didn't know what that meant. Like, if you fail, you're winning. What does that mean? So now I get it. If you're failing, it means that you're doing something. You're at work.
Yes.
Right? And if you're failing, it also means that when you're starting, you're not starting at zero. You're now starting with experience. Right? So you are actually at a better position than the one that is starting at zero. And I was like, flip. Had I known, I would have failed so many times, because for you to win, you gotta fail. When a kid is growing up, they are continuously falling before they start walking, but we never ask them to stop. Don't stop walking. We never say that. Continue crawling. We never say that. We encourage them. But how come the same is not in business? When we do business, that's the one question. But I want to speak to the point of some of the failures that you have had. Give us an example of, when you look back, you're like, I was dumb there. But at least it gave me the education of where I am today. So, for instance, I'm extremely grateful for the 5 million rand that I lost between my wife and I. I'm extremely grateful for that, because it made me to wake up.
Yeah.
Right? And then to be able to say, what can I do to improve the situation? And today I'm in a different position. But had I not lost that money, I don't think that that would have happened.
Wow, that's a very powerful story there. I mean, if you when you talk numbers, I'm sure a lot of people they don't even get scared. But you are right. I mean, at the end of the day, um, like you said quite nicely, when a kid falls when they try to learn, you don't stop them. You actually encourage them to fall more, because when they
Yeah,
fall, they learn better. So I'm one guy who actually learned a lot from the books that I read. I read a lot of books, so I even
yeah.
read while I was still at varsity. I read a lot of business books. I remember I wanted to start a company, a tracking company. So that was me in my second year of varsity. So I gathered some few friends to come and work with me, and I think that was one of my weaknesses when I started. I always wanted to get approval from other people, and I always wanted to get somebody to help me, forgetting that I can do it by myself because I've done it before while I was young. I didn't wait, for somebody to give me money to invest in me to start. I decided to take that 5 rands that my dad gave to me to go and buy lunch, and I used it to start a business, to start selling sweets, making 25 rands now a day instead of having that 5 rands. So I had those friends who later, during the process of trying to register the business, they just renegated and they were nowhere to be found. They decided not to go on with it. And surely that I've learned a lesson that sometimes you just gotta pick up yourself and do it yourself for yourself, because if you wait for other people before you do something for yourself, they might not come. That savior might not be there when you need them. So I actually opted to that was one lesson that I've learned, and I failed because I left that business. And then secondly, there was another business that I also tried to start. That was a business called, we wanted to deliver food for local township market in Tambisa. And
Mm,
whilst trying to start that, because people love quotas, love your scopes and everything
yeah,
in the townships. And then there wasn't this the companies that are currently delivering, your online companies, I don't want to mention the names, that are currently delivering, they were not there then. There was only one company which I knew of, which was in India, called Zomato. So I wanted to actually use the same model to start something for my hood. Also, there, I had somebody whom I was working with, and that person decided to relax, because I'm one guy who's impatient. I don't believe when you have a dream that is burning you, you'd want to relax. So I'm one guy who wants to act. If I think of something, I want to do it. And the moment I think of it, I must do it, because if I don't do it, I consider myself a failure. Because I
mm,
don't believe when you fail, like you lost 5 million, but in my view, you didn't lose 5 million. You paid a tuition of 5 million to learn what you have and what you know right now. So that's my view of things. So that company didn't work due to that partnership also, and because I depended mostly on the guy to develop the app, but then he wasn't there. He was doing other things instead of focusing on this one side. Because I'm one guy that believes if you want something to work, you have to give it your all. You have to focus on it, and you have to make sure that, or you strategize. You don't overthink it, but whatever that you think is going to work, you try it. If it fails, fine, move to the next thing. Try the next thing. If the next thing doesn't work, it's all right. It's a lesson. You move to the next thing. So those are some of the few
100%.
businesses that I failed in, and
Yeah,
I know that what the reason why I failed was because of me depending on other people and not thinking out of the box. As an entrepreneur, you have to think out of the box. You have to have a plan B. Always have a plan B, because if plan A doesn't work, then it means that you will give up. So always try to have plan B, plan C, plan D. You know, ne- always have a plan in a way.
100%. I like that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And if you've been watching us, welcome to Step Up. I'm talking to Solomon today. He's talking about his own businesses that he's been doing. And I think the conversation that we're having here is failures. And we kind of like just jumping on it to say, embrace them. You need them. And wherever you are at the moment, in the comments, let us know whether you've had any failures that have actually enabled you to grow, and we can go on there. So now you've got two businesses where you're the founder and you're the CEO.
Yes.
These two businesses, why did you choose them? And or did they choose you? You know, I hear some other people who says, "Hey, no, the money chose me." So the question here is, if you could have had an option to do many other different things, but you didn't do them. You went on to choose these two businesses. Why did you go to choose these two businesses?
The businesses that I started didn't necessarily choose me. I chose the business. Number one, because of my background, my educational background. Ciso Labor Project is simply a company. It's a HR consultancy firm. So I studied labor law and also did labor relations in school. So those are my educational backgrounds. So and then I worked for two years in the mining industry, doing labor relations for the company, and then later on, because I was in the Bundus, I decided that I want to come back to Joburg. Then I went to aviation. Then I did 1 year also with another company in the aviation sector, one of the biggest aviation companies. Then I decided that I think now is time for me to explore if I can't do this on my, by myself, for myself, and helping employers. Because now you have companies, there's so many companies that I know that don't have labor relations specialists, that don't have, understand, HR part of business. Then I decided that I'm going to start this. And immediately when I left my employer, the employer that I left before I joined the other one then called me and said, "Can you please handle my cases in Gauteng?" Then I said, "Oh, okay, that's good." Then I was handling those cases because they like my approach to labor relations and they like my work ethic. So that's how then the business started and grew from there. I mean, we with the same business, we have employed many people, and we even started a division of recruitment, and also employed people in that division of recruitment. So what makes me proud is that I started with nothing. I took the entire Provident Fund money. That was money that I saved for me and my family. But I'm very blessed that I have an understanding wife who understands that sometimes in business, or in life, you must risk. If you really want to make it big, you must sometimes risk it all. Because if you don't, nobody will risk it. Will risk for you. Nobody. So we decided to risk that money, and then we started this business. We invested in the office, in the staff, and everything. So that's one side of the other business. And then on the
so yeah. before you go on, Solomon, on that one, I think that is a pain point for many brothers out there. Just finding the right spouse. I run another business where I bring people together. I tell my wife that I've got success rate in that one, 100% success rate so far. So, but jokes aside, on the spouse thing, because it's a very important topic that I just so wish that a lot of people could lean in and zone in, because I saw a picture the other day of two birds, and the one male bird was digging so that the other bird could lay the eggs, and then the other bird, which was the female one, was busy throwing back the sand in the pit. And I was like, wow, this is so much of a teamwork, right? And to me, that was a demonstration of many couples out there. You going out there, you fending, be it the wife or the husband. Let's just say partner, because these days people also marry in the same sex. So I don't hate. With that in mind, how do you navigate the conversations of, sweetie, we need to do this?
Yeah.
And because I think that's where a lot of people just get stuck, especially when you have come from a position of failing before and you are
Yep.
not driving the car that you should be driving, and you are not
Mm.
in the house where her people or his bras are supposed to be staying.
Yeah.
How do you have those conversations so that you can rebuild? Because for me, that's what it is. It's rebuilding.
Mm. My brother, that's you're right. That's a very sensitive and very touchy topic. But I'm one guy who believes that if you found a good partner, you'd achieve anything that you wish to achieve, because a good partner is somebody who wouldn't just be selfish and only think for themselves. They'll also think about your dreams as a person, because we all
Right.
dream. So we need to share our dreams with our girlfriends while they're still girlfriends. We need to share
Ah,
that with before we decide
preach.
to Ebola and everything. We must share that this is me, this is what I want to achieve. And
Right.
you must just be frank that nothing can and nothing should come in the way of you achieving what you want to achieve. But also on the other side, simply means that if you expect your partner to support you, you must support them also. They might not be, entrepreneurial head, but in whatever that they do, you need to support them. If it means going to family events, even if though you don't like, you must still continue to do that, because at the end of the day, you'd also expect her to come with you to those award ceremonies, business dinners and all that. So it's important that we share this, who we are fully and what we want to achieve, and the risk appetite that you have as a young man or as an individual or a young woman. We need to share that with the partners so that they know that one of these days maybe you'll see the sheriff coming to take the car because we lost a 10 million client. They must know that. They must understand that, because business, it's a risk. Doesn't matter how big you are. We know the stories of Nokia's. We know the stories of um, BlackBerry. We know the stories of our next door, shopkeepers who lost everything. So in business, it's a risk. But if you want to achieve and succeed without stressing the other part of the relationship, because that relationship, it actually anchors your journey as an entrepreneur. So you need to work together and support each other. I think support is it's more important more than any other thing, because if you are a businessman, you come back home, you're tired, you're stressed, you just lost a client, and then you get a wife who doesn't care at all about that, then we have a problem. I don't think you'd even wake up the following morning to go and fight, because in business we fight every day.
Yeah. Thanks, man, for that. I mean, you're talking to me there, right there. You're talking to me directly. I needed that encouragement. So I want to come back to your business.
Yeah.
Part of this show is to promote your business, right? This is why we do this, because many people are going to watch this, and I want to give you an opportunity to tell us who is your ideal client, right? They might be watching right now. And by the way, if you're watching right now, Solomon's details are going to be in the description of the video. You will be able to reach out to him on all the details that that we've got there for him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, labor relations, for some people, they even start a business, they don't even know that there is a thing that is called labor relations. So tell us, sell the business to us as if we were the customers, and today we need your services.
Okay, thank you, my brother. So Siso Labor Projects offers labor relation services. In simple terms, those who don't understand what labor relations is, it's simply the relationship, management of relationship between the employer and the employees. Each and every business needs employees, and they work on employees. And to make money, you need to have good employees. Assist you to service your customers. So as labor relations specialists, we come in, we assist in managing those relationships, just like a marriage relationship. There's rules. So we actually bring those rules. We draft the rules for you so that employees can follow those rules. And those who don't follow the rules as labor relations company, we then help them. We discipline, we counsel, we coach, and we also fight for you in the CCMA if required. If it goes to labor court, then we also fight for you because we have strategic partners, law firms that we have partnered with, and also we also assist with performance management of the employees. I mean, I know that many of our brothers and sisters, they just run the companies. As long as somebody comes to work at 7, leaves at 5, it's all okay. And it's not all about that. It's all about the output that an employee would give you as a business owner. And we come in to try to help you to get those outputs from the employees. And if you can't find them, if the employee can't give you those outputs, then we find a way to replace them with somebody that can give you that. That's what we do.
As an entrepreneur starting off a small business, whatever business it is that I find myself in, at what point do I call you for help? I'm just thinking at the point when I've been saved with a CCMA letter. But I'm sure that's far too late now, isn't it?
It is. Unfortunately, most companies would call us during that time. And it's actually, it can, I'd usually say, look, I think it's too late now. We can try to fight. We can try if there is any winning chance to fight. And if there isn't, then we change it. We don't beat around the bush. We believe in integrity, we believe on it in all of you, because we believe that labor relations is cost to money. So if you don't do your labor relations accordingly, you will spend money. You'll be fined. You will lose cases in the CCMA and pay. Some will pay millions. Or if you're a smallest business, you pay hundreds of thousands. And we come in and try to help you on that. So we would prefer that employers would immediately, when you know that you have your first employee, then you call us. We come and build and manage that relationship between you and that employee. And that wouldn't even cost you a lot. Unlike when you have to go to CCMA and call us there, then they will charge you.
I know the experience. I was saved with a letter at one point, the CCMA letter. I thought it was a scam actually at one point, and only to realize it is true. I'm like, what happened? Right. Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
I think that's what many employers do. They'll call you on the day that they get a call from the CCMA commissioner saying, "Are you coming?" Say, they're like, "Damn, I think now is about time that I call that guy." Yeah,
100%. Good. Your other business, what does it do? We've spoken about the labor relations. Yes. This year, it sounds like it's an active business. You are the specialist, so you have to be there. You run the business with obviously all the other people that you employ in this business. Yes. I like the business, but I don't like it, right? But I don't judge businesses. I'm a guy that wants to create systems so that I don't have to work. That's my thing. Low effort, high input, that's my thing. But I suppose you can also make it like that, depending on how you're going to structure it.
Definitely, my brother. It's all in the whether it's a product innovation or it's a system innovation. I'm one guy who believes in the systems. So everything has to be systematic. And if you have the right systems to manage things, to manage people, to manage processes, there's no need for you to be there. I should be sitting somewhere in the office, I'm sure, right now, working, but I'm sitting here with you, enjoying this conversation, teaching the nation.
High five to you. I think that's where the money is. And a lot of people don't get that. We still think that, exchanging our time for money is the best place. And that's the worst place ever.
I agree.
Let's jump onto your next business, your business number 2. What do you do? What does that business do?
Okay, Jack, the other business, it's It's a new baby. I love it so much, and I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it because I've been, like I told you, I failed in actually about two, I'd call it IT businesses. I'm one guy who love, just like you, I love businesses that are easily scalable and businesses that would leave would outlive me as a person, not just a business that when I die then it dies, right? So
Yeah.
with the next business, the name is Ipasela. Ipasela, it's a Zulu word which translates to parcel, and
Yeah.
we found this business started actually in 2018, where myself and this other brother of mine started a business called Mobilot. But unfortunately, during that time, we didn't have the right technology to push the business. Then I believe in in doing things right the first time. If whatever that I'm doing is not right, because customers they demand a lot. They don't even compromise when they have to spend their money on your service or your product. So I also believe in giving the best service or the best product. So the platform that we had, it wasn't that user friendly. Then I decided to can it a little bit, actually to freeze it, not to can it completely. I decided to freeze it so that I can focus on something else. So then I focused on that, and then later on, then I realized that I think now the tech market has opened, and the cost has went a bit down. Of development cost has decreased a little bit more than it used to be before, because then you pay hundreds and hundreds of thousands to millions for you to develop apps. So ePasela, it's simply an app that connects people who want to ship or who wants to courier products with people who own vehicles who are willing to help you move your parcels immediately, same day. So we call it an on-demand delivery app, and we deliver goods on a daily basis. And we've been very fortunate to get customers from Kazakhstan, and now we are engaging other customers from Ukraine, where there's war now. But we are engaging those customers on delivery of goods, and we've been very blessed. I must say, my brother, we've been very blessed to have customers that we have right now, and we are growing at a very, very, very fast pace. In that the township market that we are more focusing at is actually warming up to the product, to the app, and to the services that we're offering. We just partnered with Geleza. Many of you know Geleza, the calculator guy, the mathematician guy on Facebook, and Mutupi Hopa. We also have a partnership with a new product that is developed by a lady in Tambisa. She developed a product, a skin product for eczema, and she's so amazing. So we've already, we delivered a couple of stuff for her, and look, it's growing every day. We receive new inquiries because I personally, having grew up in Tembisa and still going to Tembisa to visit my parents, I know that if with this new digital transformation, people selling stuff on Facebook and on other platforms, they need reliable courier services instead of people moving from their houses going or to the from their business going to town to go and to ship their products. I don't believe it's proper for today's customer that is so demanding, that require has this instant gratification of need. They just want things to be done now, and so waiting for 5 days for a product today, it's outdated. It's too old. So we provide services to even other courier services. They come to us and say we want to deliver some stuff same day, and we had that you the guys that can help us. So this is a 2 months year old business, and this 2 year months old baby already has delivered more than 250 parcels in the last 2 months. And this very small baby also has customers, international customers. And again, the very small baby has more than 260 drivers in Gauteng who registered on the platform. And we're expanding to the places like Limpopo, Rustenburg, Durban, and the way we servicing the customers, they now want us to go to other places where we're not ready yet, but we are scaling up and moving as fast as we can to get to those markets to help our customers to ship their products at a cheaper cost for that matter. So we even gotten to get to a storage where we can ship our products cheaper for your e-commerce customers. Yeah.
Cool. I really like this. So 2018, you said that's when you started the business, right?
I
Knitting it together.
Yes, definitely. 2018, yes.
Right. 2018, 2019, we're in 2022 now. So it has taken you around about 4 years. And I think the reason why I'm saying this, I want to demonstrate the fact that a lot of people, they see a product or a business that's doing well with the numbers that you've just shared, and they don't know that there was lots of background time, effort that was put into it. Now, and now the business is shooting off like this. So well done on this business. That's my number one. My second one is that I almost see a business in your business, right? So, and I almost want to say here, if you're listening in, listen carefully, because you can make some money. This is the moment where Uncle TJ is going to give you some money to take. Right?
Yeah.
So with your app is a standalone, right?
Yes.
People that have a means of access to a mobile car, bicycle, bike, you name it.
Yes.
For as long as they are mobile, they can connect onto your platform, and then they become your hands, foot, and eyes in terms of picking up a parcel and dropping it off. Is that correct?
Definitely, yes.
You will pay them each time they pick up and each time they drop off, and you don't discriminate whether they are a woman, whether they are a man, whether they are old, tall, young, fat, slim. Yes. You don't discriminate.
No, definitely, we do not discriminate. That would be a fatal mistake for me as a labor relations specialist to discriminate. Our Employment Equity Act completely, it's against that. So as long as you can, whether you are crippled, whatever, as long as you can pick up a parcel from point A and drop it to point B, you will get paid. And you are free to work with us. The only discrimination that we have is criminal record. Because now somebody with criminal record, I don't think I will be able to trust them with other people's valuables. So we do not accept people with criminal records, unfortunately, but it must be said, we deal with valuable stuff. Sometimes we have expensive things that we have to move from point A to point B.
I really like that. I appreciate that. I did say Uncle TJ is going to give you some money. All you need is a vehicle or whatever, access to mobility. You got a job. That's it, right? And then the other aspect is that people like me, I'm an author and I write books, right? So people like me, you want people like me to be on your platform. Because now I've got a product. Is that the case?
Definitely, my brother. Somebody like you who's got a product and who's got customers and who wants to grow. Because we want to work with people who want to grow their businesses, because we don't just deliver. We believe in partnerships. We have the capabilities to market other people's products through our company as well. That because we have a good following. So that following, when we share your stuff, obviously it gets out there to our customers. And as partnerships, we also have, good prices for people who want to partner with us. And we don't discriminate again. As long as you have products that are legally acceptable in South Africa, you are free to partner with us.
Yeah. Okay, good stuff. I really like that. Well done on your business. To every success to your business, brothers. I really like the two businesses that you have. They're just amazing. I really like that. What does a typical day look like for you now that you've got these two businesses running? Like you wake up and then what?
My brother, it's I wake up, to tell you the truth, I'd wake up, bath my daughter, take her to school, kiss her goodbye, just like an ordinary man. Um, and then, fortunately, through business, I have time that I can spend and go to school, and whatever time that I go to school, and no employer tells me that you need to be here at this time. So then I would, from there, from my school, then I'd go to office, greet everybody, see everybody, check how things are going, and if there's anything that I
This
need
is
to
which
do.
office now? The two businesses, are they intertwined in one office or do you have separate offices?
I've opted to have one office with obviously divided. We've divided this single
Sure.
office so that I don't have
Right.
to travel from point A to point to another area. So while I'm
Good
there,
idea.
I'm able to have a meeting with leadership of CISO, finish, have a meeting with leadership of eParcel at the same time, later on, finish. Then I can also see what is happening in the business and strategize accordingly there and there and make decisions there and there instead of having to travel to go and make decisions. It's always better when you can make decisions faster because we live in a very fast world where people need things now. So we try to make
Yeah.
decisions as much as we can. And that's why I decided then to have the same businesses in the same office park.
Well, I like the way you think, man. You sharp, you smart. I
Thank
really
you.
like it.
I try,
Yeah,
my brother.
yeah. In all of these things that you're doing now, where you are at the moment, have you ever had a waste moment and you like, flip this business thing? It's not for me. And what was that waste moment? Give us an experience. You don't have to go into the actual detail of it.
Yeah.
But I can tell you one of my worst experience was that when a partner of mine stole some solid money from us, and we only discovered via a client that this is what he had done,
Yo.
and it shocked. And I regarded that person as a brother. You know what I mean? So that was one of my worst cases. I've got a couple of them. The other one is I offered to help someone to progress their business. And
Yes.
a couple of days later, they sued me for stealing information from them. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. So
Yeah.
when you're in the jungle, mosquitoes always bite. What has been your worst one?
My brother, my worst one. Today I'm gonna be honest and I'm live and this is gonna be public and I'm glad.
Yeah.
One worst moment that I had in my business journey was 2019 when I started delivering food from SA to Zimbabwe. So I
Right.
had a brother. Remember during that time there was food crisis in Zim. So
Yes.
I decided with my partner, a brother, a guy that I called a brother, that I loved so much to start that business. We started the business nicely. Then we started attracting customers from all over the world, UK, Zimbabwe, Cape Town, buying food from us so that we can deliver in Zim. And for me, that was a game changer because we had an online shop, and
Mm.
I was managing the online store. And then he decided later when we started to gain traction. And remember, I invested my personal money, my business money to market, to grow, to develop, and to do everything. Then he decided that he's taking the business idea, my business idea, because he was a partner, to start the same thing with somebody else. Yeah, same thing with somebody else. But then I decided, let me not sue. Let me just leave it. Yeah, because even if I sue, there was nothing that I was going to get out of it. It's going to be a waste of
With
time.
what I know today, with exactly what you've said now, I would have done it differently. But I'm going to ask you, with what you now learn, with where you are in business today, how would you have protected yourself? Because part of this show here is not just for us to hear these cool stories, but also to highlight some of these things that can creep up in the business when we are working from a trust perspective rather than working from a black and white, right? And this is the reason why contracts are there, right? And unfortunately, a lot of us, we jump into business and we don't know about these contracts, or we think that contracts are too expensive. But look at your situation now. So with what you know now today, if you go back and you think about it, what would you have done better or differently to protect your IP or your this business that you had?
Sure, my brother, what I would have done, except for the fact that I wouldn't have partnered with that guy, except for that. But there would be more tomorrow. I know people of that nature. They're always there, like you said. Mosquitoes will always bite you in the jungle. So now, I believe. I mean, we had a contract. We had restraint of trade. We had everything. I mean, the only thing that I could have done was just to go on and sue the guy with his partners, because I also have lawyers who represent me. But then I just opted, what? Sometimes fighting will distract you from things that you have to achieve. Sometimes, not all the time. In business, we have to fight. Like I said, we always have to fight. But then there are fights. We actually have to choose the types of fights that we get into. So this one for me was I could have won the case, but I believe that I could have just wasted my time and my money, because during that time it was the hard lockdown. COVID was killing businesses, and I had to focus on my business, on my other business, to survive and to try to grow this one. So now I had to prioritize what was more important to me. And then what was important was for me to sustain what I had. And, fortunately I did. We're still there today. We surprised a lot of people. We defeated COVID, and a lot of big giants, they fell. They fell.
You speaking of that, I've got a Jewish mentor who's out from Israel. And I was going through the motions of when I found out about this partner who had stolen stuff from us in the business. And he says to me, TJ, sometimes you have to lose everything to gain more. So I'm like, dude, we just lost some money there. Now you're telling me philosophical stuff. I'm like, I need to lose everything for me to gain more. Like, what the hell? When you are down, you probably don't see it. But that philosophy has held truth. So, I mean, that's just a word for somebody there. Now, is there anything? We're coming to a close. I really appreciate having the conversation with you. Ladies and gentlemen, if this conversation has been great to you and you're gaining value, let us know in the description what you've been learning. But Solomon, you are an intellectual person. You're chasing your MBA now. And the question is maybe why? Because you are making the money. So why MBA? That could be another one question. But over and above that, is there a particular book maybe that you can say, hey, this book here changed my game or changed my thoughts, that we can all jump on and learn from?
Okay, so my brother, I'm doing MBA. For me, doing an MBA is to learn, because I don't think that I'm perfect. I don't think I know everything. And with MBA, I get a chance to read stories that I've never read, and I wouldn't have ordinarily decided to go and look for and read those, stories. And I'm also, learning about new business, tech business. And since, now MBA now has focus on the tech side also. So now I'm learning that as well. So there's I'm also learning many theories that one could try in the business, because they've helped other big businesses to be where they are. And the one book that really changed everything for me. It was by Henry Ford. I think Henry Ford the third. Um, I was still in high school when I read that book, and seeing how taking risks can help one to achieve unimaginable results, change the whole history of a country or the whole global history. That was a lot. Then the second, that's the first book. The second book would be one by AC Krailings. I don't know whether you can still find it in store. It's philosophy of life. I did philosophy in university. Then I ran away second lecture because it was too complicated for my liking. But I finished the book, and that book speaks about principles of life. And there was one section that spoke about fear. That fear is an enemy or to endeavor, something of that nature. If you can, deal with fear, you can achieve anything. So that book also got me to where I am. I read a lot of books, of course, but these two books are the best for me.
Good, man. If you had to look back in your young... say that again.
I was saying they are very, very old books, by the way. I don't know whether they're still there in the stores, but online they might be.
Oh, no, if you're hungry, you look for them, man. You might find them somewhere for $1, R1 somewhere, but they're still there, Yeah, so I appreciate that. If we were to look back into your younger self, with what you know today of yourself, what kind of advice would you throw at yourself and say, Solo, do A, B, C, D, with your journey now that you've journeyed?
Yeah, well, I'd tell my young self to just go for it. And whether you are out there in the cold, it's fine. You don't need warmth of other people. Create your own. Ignite your own fire. Get your own blanket. You will be warm. Even though it's cold, even though you are lonely, but the fact is you will still survive. That's what I'll tell myself. Because a lot of us, my brother, there's so many business young people approach me on Facebook, and they say they want to start a business. They're looking for an investor. They cannot start without an investor. They cannot start without money. And that's not the truth. That's not true. It's completely the opposite.
Right.
I mean, if you hear, there's a lot of people with good stories out there who started with nothing.
I'm going to conclude. It's been great having you around. I think there's so many conversations I can take and divert into different places. With your journey alone, I didn't know about this about you, man. So kudos to you in terms of where you are. What does step up your game mean to you?
When somebody would say that, it simply means that I'm not doing enough. I must do more than what I'm doing.
Right.
I must do more. Yeah. That's what it simply means to me.
Cool.
And surely, I think we all have shortcomings, and we must find ways to deal with those.
100%.
I'm solution driven, Jack. I believe everything in any situation has got a solution. I could tell you now that if I had time, if I was not managing what I'm doing now, I'd go to Eskom and see if I can give South African alternative energy source.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Solomon there. He runs 2 businesses. And this is not about chasing what the next person is doing, but if he can do it, I'm of the view that anyone else can do it. And that's what this show is all about. so that we can hear these stories of other people that look like us, that have the same background with us, who are doing it. And we can start to take away all of those chips that we carry on ourselves and say, it can be done. And the game is to step up your game. Until we see you on the next video, keep watching.